Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let me make it public. Let me make it public. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I am so excited. Oh my gosh. Are you guys excited? Tuesdays with Terrence. If you were going to miss any show, you should have missed last week. So let me start it up. Let me start it up. Let me make it public. Let me make it public so everybody can share. Let me make it public. It is public now. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. And if you are from Dominica, in the enclave, the village, the parish of St. Luke, Point Michel, aka La Pointe, you call me Luca Boy. That's for little boy. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. How are you people doing? Welcome. As people are starting to come in, let's wait for them into the room. If you were going to miss any Tuesdays with Terrence, you should have missed last week or every other week. You should have missed. Man, I am so excited, and I want to make the time for my special guest. So people are starting to come in. Make sure, sometimes I don't tell people to like and share. Sometimes I tell them to like and share. But tonight, you got to like and share. Because I know you all got daughters, you got granddaughters, you got nieces, you got cousins, you got friends who got daughters. You got to share this live. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let me check and see what the markets did. For those of you worried about markets, let me see. I was talking to one of my clients today. I'm doing an IRA rollover for them. They have some monies from their former job. And some of you, I should be doing rollovers for you as well to protect it, where zero is the hero, where you never, ever lose a penny. But while we're waiting for people to come in, oh my gosh, you all lost a ton of money. The Dow Jones was down 570.17 points. The NASDAQ was down 325.26, and the S&P was down 80.48. People are starting to come in. Why people are starting to come in? You know what? What I'm going to do is that, you know what? I don't know. I get a little excited. I remember when I used to be a little shy about this subject, but you know what? As a financial professional, black don't crack. Boom! It's the melanin. Yes. Yeah. Tuesdays with Terrence. Tell somebody, throw a rock at the window. Come in.
Don't you know that black don't crack? There's no need to be ashamed of your skin. They won't tell you.
Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Yes. I better put it on Instagram. Let me try that.
You must have got me.
Oh man.
Got me in a trap. 'Cause every time I keep coming back.
Let me stop that, man. I gotta put it back to the beginning. I want to, you know what I didn't do? I didn't make a live video for Instagram. Let me make it live for Instagram as well, so people can see. The audience is public on Instagram. And next, let's go live on Instagram. Boom. We should be streaming now on Instagram. I think I set it up now. Everything should be working fine. We're connecting to the stream to go live. But let's see how everything is going on right here. So anyways, like I was saying, right? Black don't crack. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's see who's in the house. Welcome. It's a STEM night. Felicia, how are you, my esteemed partner? My business partner. Black don't crack.
There's no need to be ashamed of your skin.
I'm not.
They won't tell you, but
It's a fact.
You got class, let it last. Keep it.
All right.
You must have got me.
Let me stop it because you know what? If I don't stop it, I'm going to be playing this song all night long. Let me stop it because let's get to the show. Folks, this evening I have a very special guest. I'm so excited And I'm so excited. But just before we do that, you don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have a million to be on my show. And for those of you who are watching on Instagram, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever you're watching on Bardui Financial Services, Havis Bardui on Facebook, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I have to get a sip of water. I want to bring my guest in. First of all, I'm going to play my theme song, and then I'm going to bring my guest on so we can have a candid conversation tonight. And I think you guys are going to love this conversation. And she's brilliant. She's also my client, and I'll tell you a little bit about her. I have a bunch of clients, a lot, hundreds. There's only one client who intimidates me. It's her. And she knows that. I've told her that. But it's time for our theme song. You don't have to be a star to be on my show, but I got a superstar tonight. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's start it over. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Come, family.
Family, come as you are with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, you're worth much more than you put in. Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be tonight, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have a million family to be on my show.
Folks, you don't have to be rich, you don't have to have a million, but tonight I got, a superstar. I am so excited. I'm going to unmute her as I bring her in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her in a second, but she's my esteemed client. She's an engineer. She's a mother. She is brilliant. I just can't wait to have a discussion with her tonight. So what I'm going to do is, folks, as I bring her in, let me put her on a solo screen so you all can see her. She's not just beautiful, but she's brilliant. And black don't crack. Here she is. Jamaican woman. Niquette Jenner, my esteemed client. Yes.
I am black and I'm strong in every way. Traveling to the top of the mountain. Jaja in control of my life. As I'm stepping, me no fear, no more. All the pressures of life are surround me. And the tractors driving can bone me. Make them laugh and chat. I'm a bubbling like a pot. I'm a blessing turn up to the max. I'm a strong Jamaican woman.
That's me.
Jamaican woman.
That's literally me.
You like that?
I like
Jamaican. That. You're strong. You're black. You like that? You see what I did tonight there? Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Niquette Channel, how are you, my esteemed
I'm doing very well.
client? How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm joining you from New Jersey. Yes.
New Jersey? All right. I can see Tay watching from Berea. She's all the way in Texas watching tonight.
Hi,
so she's doing all these hearts. I know you guys used to go to church together, so she's giving you that one up. So check this out, folks. This lady right here is my esteemed client. I remember I made a post on social media a few years back, and we were Facebook friends because from the connection in Boston from church.
Mm-hmm.
And, her mom as well, and her aunt. But the thing about it was she reached out to me when I was talking about some concepts. And what I admire about people like her is even in their brilliance, they know what they don't know. They know what they don't know. So let me put a joint screen so you guys can see. They know what they don't know. And she reached out to me, but guess what? She's so brilliant. She was doing what I was talking about anyways in the past. She wasn't aware. She was kind of aware, but she wanted to know more. And I can't tell you what I did for her, but I can do the same thing for you. She can tell you. But what I do know is she has income protection, she has debt elimination, and she got legacy creation. And that, my dear, is why I am so fond of her, because I told her a few years back when we started, man, you intimidate me. She's like, why? Because she's not loud, right? Because I'm loud and
You are.
boisterous, right? But when she talks, her brilliance, I'm making her blush there because she's like, but I remember last time when I had to go to her house to do some work in New Jersey, and when I was leaving on the road, she made me some fried plantain
I
because she's an
did.
islander just like me, and I enjoy that. So Niquette, so you coming to us from New Jersey tonight, right? To tell us a little bit about your background. I told the people you're already from Jamaica, but you're going to tell us about
Correct.
a little bit about Jamaica, Boston, where you went to school. I attended Northeastern as well. But we want to talk about some of that and tell us a little bit about your family, what you want to tell us. I know you're a mother, so share what you like to share before we start. And we're going to talk about STEM tonight. And you guys can see the definition of STEM scrolling down. But Niquette, just tell us a little bit about you. That you have about 2 minutes to tell the folks about you.
Okay, sure, great. I am Jamaican, of course, everyone knows that. And I grew up in New York City. So I'm a Jamaican New Yorker, which is definitely a specific type of person. I went to Northeastern University. I went to Boston, and I went to Northeastern. I did an undergraduate in chemical engineering, and then I did a graduate degree in industrial engineering. So I always like to tell people I'm an engineer times two. And then I started my career, and I've been working now for about 24 years, working specifically in medical device manufacturing. So even though I went to school for chemical engineering, I work in a completely different discipline of engineering. I work with some pharmaceuticals, so still chemistry, but mainly electromechanical devices, which is normally like electrical engineering or mechanical engineering. So I'm a mother of three. I have my oldest daughter is Desiree, which a lot of people watching probably know. She's 27 and she's also a chemical engineer. She works in pharmaceutical manufacturing, and then I have two younger children, Christian and Adrian. And Adrian just shared with me recently that she also wants to be a chemical engineer, which I think is super cool.
We are freezing.
And I am a second generation. My mom is
a
also
family
an
trait.
engineer. Yeah, my mom is also an engineer, and so is my stepdad. So a whole family of STEM people.
And she's watching. Roba.
Is she? Okay, cool.
But anyways, I am so excited about having you tonight on Tuesdays with Terrence. It's one of those things where I think sometimes we forget that in STEM, and for those of you who are watching and you're like, well, what is STEM? And if you look on the screen, it's scrolling and it's telling you what STEM is. Although this is a financial services show, I like to highlight certain fields or certain people, and because she's my esteemed client and an engineer, we figure we're better to talk about STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So check this out, right? You are my client. You've put some stuff in place. So God forbid, I pray you live a long, long, long life, but you put stuff in place for your family just in case. We're doing some great work with you, and I thank you so much for your business. But that's not the reason why I have you on. I have you on for your brilliance. So in a nutshell, I just told the people what STEM is, right? However, you being an engineer, why is it, and we want to concentrate on women because a lot of women watch this show, and women are mothers, women are nieces, women are sisters, women are daughters, women are friends. Why is it that a lot of people don't realize the importance of, and why are they so hesitant with STEM?
I think people are hesitant with STEM because they assume that they have to be excellent in science and math in order to pursue a career in STEM. And really, that's not the case, right? There are a lot of opportunities within the STEM umbrella that you can pursue that do not require you to be, exceptional in science or mathematics. You just have to be a problem solver. And that's what engineers are. We're problem solvers, right? We look at a situation and we try to understand the root cause and determine a way to solve the problem. Um, as a person in STEM, I always tell people, if you don't know, if you want to go to college and you don't know what you want to do a degree in engineering, because with a degree in engineering, you can do literally anything. You can go anywhere from there. Um, I have friends that are engineers that I went to school for engineering with that work in on Wall Street. I have friends that are went to school for engineering that work as veterinarians and lawyers. And um, I did chemical engineering, but I work in electromechanical. So it doesn't really matter. You can really go anywhere from there. Um, STEM can take you a lot of places. And you don't, as I said, you don't need to have a degree to have a STEM career. There are, within the medical field, there are a lot of certifications that you can get. You can be anesthesia technician, a surgical technician, and none of those careers require you to to go to college, right? And to be exceptional at mathematics or science. Yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful. I want to apologize to those of you who are watching and you see some freezing. Nothing is wrong. My internet bill is paid. That's not the issue. I think I need a new computer. And I'm gonna have to get one ASAP because the freezing is annoying. So please forgive me, and again, I'm sorry for that. But as we're going on, so you're saying STEM is there. People, I think people are intimidated. I had Dr. Anton Dahmer, who used to attend Berea Seventh Adventist Church. He went to Oakwood as well. He has a medical degree and also as a scientist. And his wife is, I think, he's done it. As well. She, we were talking about that. He was on earlier this year, and he was saying you have to start early. And he says from the time his kid was in his wife's belly, he was reading to them, and he started reading to them. So how young should kids start? With science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How young should they start? And I'll tell you what, when I ask you this question though, um, I know now we're in the technological world, and
Mhm.
kids doing everything on their phones, but you can know how to master a phone and still don't know math and science, right? So my question to you is, how young should they start, and when should parents start thinking about that for their kids?
Thinking about directing them into a STEM career for their
Career
children.
or a pathway to what's
I would say you start as young as they show interest, right? Mathematics, understanding mathematics is requires practice. It's also about aptitude, but more importantly, it's about practice. And so if you want your children to do well in STEM related subjects so they feel comfortable and confident to pursue a degree or a career in STEM, then you start them out as young as possible, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4. I would like to say that me personally, I didn't become interested in STEM careers until I was probably later in middle school, around that time. When I was younger, I wanted to be an attorney. I watched the Cosby Show, and Claire Huxtable. I love Claire Huxtable, and she was an attorney, and I really wanted to be an attorney. And so for years and years and years, I wanted to be an attorney. It wasn't until I got into middle school and I had a chemistry teacher that was well, even before that. In sixth grade, I took an aptitude test. I don't know if they do this any longer, but that's when you take like a test, a career test, and um, they determine, hey, you should probably follow this track. And one of the things that I was noted to follow was a STEM career. So science, mathematics, engineering, and I think medicine were the 3 careers that were recommended for me. And I really, outside of my grandmother, who was a nurse, I really didn't know that many people that were in STEM careers. So that's the impetus for me. That's when it started. That's when the interest started. My mom she went back to school to be an electrical engineer. And so that's when I started to be more focused on doing things and getting and figuring out what I wanted to do. But as a parent, I think it's important that you expose your children, not force them or push them, but expose them to as many career options as possible. And I think as I said, a lot of people do not pursue STEM careers because they don't know what the careers are. They don't know what people in STEM are doing. You see a doctor and you assume that's really like the only option, right? But there's so many. And more importantly than pushing them towards a specific career, expose them to as many career options as possible. If you're not a STEM person, contact someone that is, or look up online, or people are really open to sharing their career with young people, very much so. um, I myself was a mentor to young people, so people are really open to sharing what they do and how they do it, and connecting young people with STEM careers. So I would say more importantly,
It's so,
expose them to the
go ahead.
different career options.
It's so funny you said that. Not funny, hilarious, but funny, peculiar. But before I say what I'm about to say, so welcome to Juliet Jordan. Dr. Juliet Jordan is watching. I want to say hello to
Juliet.
Delphina LeBlanc, all the way in Ottawa, Canada. She's watching tonight. Elizabeth Bardui, my cousin in Brooklyn, New York. Beth Amato, my esteemed client as well in Florida, is watching. I know she has a son in high school, and a bunch of other people are watching. And some people are not saying hello, and that's okay. If you don't say hello, I can't actually acknowledge you. I mean, my daughter, we're in a blended family, and I have a daughter who's in STEM. She's doing a master's in informatics, which is a cross between technology and science as well.
Yep.
At Morehouse, she's graduating this year. Sandy's youngest son has a PhD in mathematics from the University of Texas, and he goes to HBCUs and other places that introducing kids to STEM. And I think Sandy said when he was younger, and this is a great segue to what I'm about to say. There was in Richmond, Virginia, there's a technology center where kids were going to so that they can get into mathematics and technology. But the funny thing about it was sometimes they're discouraging African American kids because maybe there's not a ride to get there or bus. Usually some of their contemporaries, their families may have the resources to get them there. But Sandy was saying whatever she and his father had to do, they had to do it to get him to the programs because it is what it is, and he excelled in it, and now he's a mathematics professor at Washington Lee University in Lexington, Virginia, and he's still young. He's only 34 years old. So my point I'm trying to make here is people are being discouraged, or some of our children. I remember even my last kid, he's like me, hyper. When he was in kindergarten, they wanted to test him for ADHD. And I said, listen, ADD. I'm like, no. I said, let me tell you something. You see me, I can't sit down. I got to be moving. What you got to do is give him harder problems. You need something to go to the office, let him take it, make him wipe the board down. He was in kindergarten. Keep him busy so he can move his mind. So my question to you, Niquette, I believe some people of color are discouraged into getting into STEM because sometimes they don't think we're smart enough. They don't think we can do it or whatever. And it's one of those things. But just before you answer the question, Daryl Morrison says hello and welcome to Donnelly Coffee Pierre in Florida, and Petra Sweetie all the way in Dominica. And everybody who's watching tonight, my special guest is engineer and my esteemed client, Miss Niquette Channer. But tell us, do you think, or were you ever discouraged? Because I know your mom is Jamaican, so no one can discourage a Jamaican to get their kids for education. But I'm to you, did you ever feel like some of your professors and some of your teachers were discouraging you? And it happens. Do you think that happens? And if it happens, how should people approach that?
Of course it happens. It happens as young as elementary school. Um, People, as I said before, people assume that you have to be phenomenal in science and math to pursue STEM subjects. I want to disparage that right now because you really don't. There are a lot of options that you can pursue within a STEM career that you do not need to be, you know, a whiz at mathematics or science. You have to be determined. You have to be a determined person, and you have to be diligent, and you mathematics takes practice, right? In order, science as well takes practice. You have to be willing to put in the work to understand the subjects and to be a problem solver. So of course you're going to be discouraged. Of course, as young as elementary school, high school, and so forth and so on, even before you even get to college, right? People are going to discourage you from pursuing careers that they feel are difficult. Um, but it's up to you to be determined and work towards those careers because that's what you want to do. And the best thing for you to do is to keep focused on your goals, set goals and keep focused on it. Keep focused on them. I did chemical engineering in college, and within the disciplines of engineering, there are probably about five that I can think of right off the bat. The chemical engineering is the hardest discipline of engineering. Um, and people will tell you that engineering is hard. Chemical engineering
Wow.
is the
Wow.
hardest engineering, right? And so a lot of times when you're in school and you're struggling struggling through different classes and you feel like you can't make it, it's important for you to have a support system of people that are working towards your same goals, as well as people that are supporting you to those goals. And you have to be determined to finish and to do what you need to do to get it done. So it's not just about having the aptitude, it's also about having the drive and the discipline to do what you need to do. And a lot of times people don't realize is that's what engineering teaches you. It teaches you to have the discipline um, and the determination, as well as the focus to solve problems. Yeah.
Wow, it's so funny you said that. I want to say welcome to Connie Roberts tuning in all the way in Dominica. I know she has some young children, and it's really important. My special guest this evening is my esteemed client, Miss Niquette Channel. She's talking about STEM, and for those of you who are watching, you can see what STEM actually stands for: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Those are. We're not saying your kid cannot be a singer or an entertainer or a business person or whatever, but I don't want to make it sound like STEM is only for Asians and Indians and Caucasians, because that's foolishness. All right. And sometimes we belittle
That
ourselves.
is,
So
yes.
what we're saying tonight is what Niquette's saying here, what you're saying here is that start early, get them into the programs and support them. Daryl says 100% on the support system. It's true. And kids need support. And sometimes we have to push them. And because you are doing it, you've done it. Your mother's an engineer, your daughter's an engineer, your other daughter who's small, younger, wants to be an engineer. You're an engineer, so it runs in the family. The smarts are there. The support system is there. But I'm saying to you,
But addition,
why
oh,
is it that in America, right? There are more women in post-secondary educational institutions than men, especially African Americans, right? But why is it important for women to concentrate on women who look like you or young girls who look like you?
so it's essential for women to, especially Black women, um, to pursue careers in STEM because we need the representation. We need the representation in all careers, all STEM careers, from medicine to to IT to web design to everything, right? We need Black women's voices. It is a voice that is grossly underrepresented out of all the careers in STEM. I think Black women make up like 2%, right? And I think we're significantly a higher percentage in here in the United States, but we only make up 2%. And me personally, I find throughout my career, I have been the only. So the only woman, the only, or and or the only Black person. So in a lot of spaces I've been the only, and that's a lonely place to be. So it's important that we have additional women coming into this field, one, to support each other, to lift up one another, and two, to provide perspectives that only Black women can provide, because being a Black woman is a very specific demographic. We are a double minority, right? Asian women are also a double minority. However, there's a lot of representation for them in STEM careers. And so in order for us to have a voice and to really change the narrative of what is happening and what's being produced for the public and for things that impact us, we need to be in the spaces to provide that voice. And I'll give you an example of that. I know that within the medical field, right? I make medical devices. And within the medical field, we have within the medical device manufacturing space, we design products. And if you're making a product that touches Black people's skin or that interacts with the body, it is important during clinical trials that we have a large representation of the population that this product is going to touch, right? And I found a lot of times when we're setting up clinical trials for products that we want to bring to market, we don't have enough representation of Black people. So we didn't have enough Black people designing the actual product, right? Because there are not a lot of people in Black women in STEM. And then we also don't have enough Black participants in clinical trials so that we can understand how these products interact with Black people. And that's negative in two ways, because one, you can make the assumption that there is no difference, right? There's no difference between body to body to body, and it's going to operate in a Black person the same way it's going to operate in a non-Black person or a non-Black woman. Or we can make the assumption that there is going to be a difference, but we don't have enough data to really understand what that difference is. And both assumptions are really negative, can really negatively impact the patient or clinician or the person using the product. So we need Black voices. We need the representation. And the more Black women we have in STEM, the more Black women see that as a space where they can also exist, and the more Black women you're going to have in STEM, right? So it's like one precedes the other, but it also helps to proliferate as well. So it's kind of my spiel.
Oh no, I'm just saying because I think it's paramount, that we
I
do that.
agree.
So would it be fair to say that women like you should be mentoring and encouraging women who look like you to get into the field? Because I'll tell you one thing:
Yeah, we should.
The Asians are doing it, the East Indians are doing it, and the Caucasians are doing it. And sometimes I feel like some of us, like when we arrive, we just want to be king of the hill. We don't want to encourage others to do it. And I think a wise person would want to do that, because if you're not going to live forever, and it ends with you, why should it, right? You want to make sure it's passed down from generation to generation. And I'm glad to hear that your daughter is one, and an engineer, and your other daughter's thinking about the same thing as well, and your mom is one. So it's really, really important that we do capitalize on that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, though. This is going well. I want to say, folks, my special guest is Miss Niquette Chana. I'm sorry, my esteemed client and engineer. We're talking about STEM and the importance of it, especially for young girls and women of color, whether they're in middle school, high school, or in college. Those are the careers or the career path that they should be seeking or wanting to embark on. So you've been doing this now for a while, a long
Yeah. Yes.
time. I mean, you look like you're 21, but you've been doing this for a long
Oh,
time.
thank you.
And yeah,
I've been
I
doing
know.
it for more than
So
21 years.
you're welcome. Yeah, exactly. I'm saying you look like you're 21. You look like just like a co-ed. You just got out. You graduated this year. So when you came out, how hard was it? And by the way, Sandy says, welcome, Miss Chana. And Julia Jordan says, mistrust due to prior trials on blocks that caused them that caused harm to them.
I completely understand that, and I completely agree.
And that's true. But I'm
Yep,
just saying to
it's
you, when you
completely true.
started,
Yeah.
you said it's been isolated. So you being, a woman, in a lot of cases being a black woman, probably the only one there in your division, or maybe sometimes maybe your company, um, you have to let your voice be heard by your work, but also audibly you have to speak. Have you ever felt intimidated being in the environment, because you're prepared mentally and educationally, you're prepared, but have you ever felt intimidated or worried or concerned while you were in your respective career paths?
Intimidated? No.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I don't think I've ever felt intimidated. So, in general, I just want to speak on what, before I go into that, I just want to speak on what Julia said in
Okay.
regards to people feeling, Black people feeling away about participating in clinical trials because of the legacy, right, of being used in the past. However, I completely understand that.
Tuskegee,
100%,
Tuskegee, right?
not just Tuskegee. I mean, it's countless. It's, women in Alabama that were used to for tested on and were used to for the practice, the GYN practices we now have today, right?
Right.
People that were sterilized, people that were, it's countless, and I understand that. But clinical trials are very different these days than they were back in years ago, right? It's very regulated, and it's important. It's paramount for us as Black people, in order for us to ensure that we're receiving appropriate care, that we participate in these clinical trials. Because, and this is a tangent on clinical trials, but and I'll get back to your question in a moment, but it's paramount that we participate, so that the drugs that are being developed, the medical devices that are being developed, the things that are being developed to aid in our care are appropriately developed with us in mind. Because that's a lot of that is what's causing um, an issue within medical care and appropriate medical care for Black people. So that's something completely aside. But in regards to feeling intimidated, I would say I never really felt intimidated throughout my career. I have felt targeted, but never intimidated. Generally, if I'm speaking on something, I'm speaking on something that I feel confident about. Normally, I don't talk on something unless I understand it and feel very confident about what I'm saying. And I feel like I've gotten to that point because I am a Black woman in STEM, and because I'm in a Black woman in a space where there aren't a lot of us, right? And so everything that I say a lot of times is questioned. And so I have to be very clear and concise and confident and knowledgeable in what I'm talking about, so that I can address any questions that come up. Intimidation is not really an issue for me. However, I would anticipate that being in a space where you're the only one, often, either the only woman or the only Black person or the only both, that it can be intimidating. And Black people in general have to be better because of that.
It's so fun. It's so funny you said that, and it's true. Even in my career, American Classic Agency, we were basically, African American and female owned. So our president is um, 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 African American. We have our leadership team, which I'm part of. You know, uh, there's only one, two, three non-African Americans on there. So I love that. But I do know in my industry, financial services, back in the day, people didn't really look like me. And it was one of those things where, I remember at a company I was at, there was a guy, I was quite proficient, and he would always go to the Caucasian, and they'll always send it back to me because I knew more than them. And sometimes we kind of discount our own. And that's why I was
Yeah.
asking you that question, because you I don't know if you go to high schools to do speeches or colleges or whether it's HBCUs or regular colleges. I don't care. But it's important that when you become an expert or a professional in your field that you give back. And giving back doesn't
I completely agree.
necessarily have to be people who look like you, but it's paramount that we concentrate on those as well, because you want your legacy to grow, not just as a woman, but as a woman of color, and being, this is your second home coming from Jamaica, a long time now, but you've assimilated and you're doing well. I want to say welcome to Petra Cabon, George, all the way in the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My special guest this evening is engineer Niquette Channer. She's my client as well. And I want to make this very clear, guys. She said something a little while ago, and she said she got to make sure that she's good enough and she doesn't talk about things she don't know. I want you guys to understand this point that she made there. The woman is brilliant. She has an advanced degree in her field.
Thanks.
However, when she reached out to me, on social media to talk more about a concept I was talking about. Now she was doing it and she didn't even know, but the point was, or to a certain degree, but the point was that's what drew me closer to her, because in her brilliance, she knows she doesn't know everything. So great segue into, so you've been doing this for about 24 years now, man, almost a quarter of a century. And she looked like
Yeah, I
you
know.
24 years you've been an engineer. Isn't that what you said?
Yes, I've
Isn't
been
that
an
what you
engineer
said?
for
24
24
years as
years.
an engineer?
Yes, yes, yes. 24
Yes.
years.
So you look like a co-ed. You look like people put it in the chat. Does she look like a college co-ed? She looks like a young, I mean, she's young, but she's like a young girl lady. But that's why I played that song by Roman Virgo, Black Don't Crack. Is that melanin, right? But anyways, get it back on point here. You are There are some talking points that you wanted to talk about on STEM. I don't know if we've addressed all of them. Is there something else that you want to say before I ask you the next question about STEM? Is there something that you want to talk about that I haven't asked yet?
Yeah, I just want to say you've mentioned a couple of times in regards to giving back. When I was in high school, one of the organizations that I coordinated with and that gives back consistently is the National Society of Black Engineers. And that was a really great place to understand what my options were in regards to engineering and pursuing a degree in engineering and pursuing a career, a STEM career. So the National Society of Black Engineers is nationwide. And if someone is interested in getting their children involved in STEM or a STEM career or understanding what their options are for a STEM career, that's really a great place to start. That's societies are really a great place to connect with, because as I said earlier in the conversation, people want to share their careers with younger people, especially Black people, especially Black women. They want to share their experiences. They want to share their paths. They want to share the knowledge of what they've learned throughout their career with younger women, with younger people. I have been a mentor many times. I've also tutored younger children. I've also participated in programs to teach younger children about STEM careers. When I worked for the different companies I've worked for, have had opportunities to do that. But definitely, if you're interested in your child pursuing a STEM career, Google the National Society of Black Engineers, look for a chapter in your area and connect with that chapter and find out what programs they have available so that you can get your child into those programs. If nothing else, just for the exposure into those programs so that they understand what's out there for them, what they can do, what they can pursue, and start to and see people that are doing it, see people that look like them that are doing these careers, and so that they can make those connections. And there are a lot of mentorship opportunities or menteeship opportunities that they can participate on. So that's one of the
You
things I
know,
highlight.
that's beautiful. I'm saying, Julia Jordan's watching, former Berea. You're on former Berea. Your mom's on watching former. It seems like Berea's just pushing out STEM. That's that was my childhood church when I was like 13, 14, from 13 until 21. And I started going to
Mhm.
Cambridge. So maybe if I'd stayed in Berea, I would have been in STEM, right? But
I mean,
anyways,
technically, you're a STEM. You're a finance person, mathematics.
I guess I guess so. We do it a little something, right? But I want to welcome my special guest this evening, Miss Niquette Channer, uh, from New Jersey. She is an engineer and also my esteemed client who's put income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation in place. No matter how brilliant that she is, she understands the concepts. So that's why I keep telling you guys it's important that what you don't know, seek someone or seek the advice of someone who can guide you along the way. So check this out, Miss Jana.
Yep.
You're an engineer, you're a mother, your mother's an engineer, your daughter's an engineer, your baby child wants to be an engineer. And I'm like, engineering is where it's at, right? But you
No,
said
no, no,
earlier,
no.
don't be intimidated. But why did you say that though?
Because I say that because people hear the word engineering, or they hear the word doctor, or they hear the word, I don't know, anything that is within the STEM, under the STEM umbrella, and they think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of education, that's really hard content, and they feel like that is not an option for them. And I can't reiterate enough that within the STEM umbrella of careers, there are a lot of options that you can pursue that do not even require a degree, right? It just requires you to be determined and for you to pursue those careers and understand what the career options are in order to pursue them, right? Nursing is a difficult field to study. However, if you are willing to focus and be determined and set goals and work at it, then you can do it. And that's the case for all fields, especially within engineering. You do not have to be a whiz at mathematics. You do not have to be a whiz at science. You just have to be a determined person, and you have to be a diligent person, and a person that's willing to work hard, and to move towards the goals that you set for yourself. So don't feel like because you're not a straight A student. I hear people say all the time, my friends that are in the medical field, they say C's get degrees, and it's true. C's get degrees, right? I didn't get straight A's in college. There were some classes that I barely made out with a C, but overall, I still got my degree, and I'm still an engineer, and I still am pursuing a career that I enjoy, producing products. I have a high sense of curiosity, which is really important as an engineer, because part of what you're doing as an engineer is solving problems. So you have to have a high sense of curiosity. You have to be someone that is a continuous learner. And you also have to understand what you don't understand and seek subject matter experts, right? That's one of the things that engineers are very clear on, right? If I'm pursuing something and I know that I'm not the subject matter expert in this area, I have no problem calling up one of my colleagues and saying, "Hey, I don't know this. I know you did this, or you worked on this type of product, or whatever the case may be. Can you share some insight with me on what you did and how you did it?" Right? So it's intimidating if you look at it as something you cannot accomplish. But if you focus and you understand that you can accomplish, then you can accomplish it, then it's not intimidating at all. And don't be intimidated by it. That's
And
what at least that's what I tell my children. Don't be intimidated. And always remember, whenever you're learning something, you're bad at it because you're just learning it for the first time, not because you're not capable, right?
exactly. When you learn to drive, or you're a great driver, when you learn to ride a bike or learn to ski, anything
Yeah.
that you're doing, your practice makes perfect. And I like how you
Right.
said, don't limit yourself because you don't have perfect scores or all A's. And I think, you know, in Boston, I went to a high school. We had to take an examination to go to. It's now called John D. O'Brien School of Math and Science.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was called Boston Tech. And we had Latin Academy and you had Latin school. And the funny thing about it is, I think sometimes we just discount ourselves and we don't want to because if you look at my high school yearbook, we just had my 40th high school reunion 2 years ago in Quincy, Mass, and I was there. And I look at the yearbook, it's I was supposed to be a computer technician, a computer something. I'm like, I don't know nothing about computers. But what I do know is this: you have to be determined, and no matter what you do, you have to stay the course. Like I was telling Sandy last night, I don't I don't think I have a job. I love what I do. And when you love what you do, yeah, you get paid for it handsomely, but it's, I'm not doing it for the pay. I'm doing it for the love. And because of the
Right.
love, you get paid for it. And it's the same thing with you. Gosh, time is running up. We got 5 more minutes, because I want to finish exactly at 8 as we close. But you know what, Niquette, you gave some great gems tonight. You dropped some great nuggets for people who have children or people who are in college who may be thinking about STEM, not to discount yourself and not to, say, well, I can't do this because you don't have perfect grades. And like you said, when you were a kid, you were watching the Cosby Show, you wanted to be an attorney like Claire Huxtable, but God had a different plan for you because this is your niche, and you love it. You get to travel to do what you do as well. So in this realm, um, kids need to concentrate on STEM, mathematics, science. Well, everybody's doing technology now because everybody. I think now everybody during the pandemic, kids will go to school with an iPad or a laptop or something. But as we're coming closer to the end, what's the charge you would give to people? I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes. I'll give you a solo screen that you something you want to say that's paramount. That even if people didn't remember anything that you said tonight, anything, they're going to remember that STEM is here to stay, and people that look like you and me, but especially women, need to look into those career choices. So go ahead. You got about 3 minutes.
3 whole minutes. That's a long
Yeah,
time.
I'll
I
give
would
you two.
say I would say that the one thing or the talking points I want people to walk away from this conversation with is that don't be intimidated by STEM careers, right? There are a lot of STEM careers out there. And as Black women, as Black people, but especially as Black women, STEM careers provide a level of financial stability, right? Going back to what this conversation, what this platform is about, it's about financial literacy. But STEM careers provide a platform for financial or a segue for financial stability. Don't be afraid to pursue STEM careers. Don't be afraid to look into options for STEM careers. Don't be afraid to direct your children into pursuing STEM careers and connect with people that are already in those careers. That's also very important. I anticipate a lot of people do not pursue STEM careers because they don't know what the careers are, what their career options are. They don't know in general what engineers do. Within engineering, there are 5 major disciplines. And then within those disciplines, there are tons of concentrations, right? Just within chemical engineering alone. So chemical engineering is one of the disciplines of engineering. Within chemical engineering, you can go into medicine, you can go into pharmaceuticals, you can make plastics, you can go into petroleum. There's so many options for us as Black people to pursue degrees in STEM. And I want people to not be intimidated and not feel as though because they're not geniuses or excellent in mathematics or excellent in science, as long as they have the determination and they have the diligence and the focus to practice and to continue to pursue these degrees, then they will be able to do it, and you will be able to be a voice and be heard and make a difference within these careers. So I think that's what I want people to walk away from. Don't be
Man,
intimidated. Pursue these careers. They're great. They
okay,
make a huge difference, and they are a path to financial stability. I want to say one last thing. I know people
go ahead.
always talk about things being genetically modified and chemically engineered. And
Exactly.
I just want people to know that every single thing you touch within your day to day life was engineered by a chemical engineer at some point in that, at some point.
Wow.
So we touch everything, right? And saying
Products,
it's chemically engineered is not a bad thing.
food, all kind of stuff.
Everything, every single thing. If you've taken a tablet today,
You know,
if you've eaten food that you bought at a store, it was touched by a chemical engineer. If you took a shower today, you have used a product that was put lotion on, anything.
I did.
So
You know, I want to thank you for saying that because I think sometimes people talk about, like even like, I'm a vegan and people say, oh, organic. Sometimes some of the organic stuff not even organic, at the Whole Foods. I think they're just charging me an extra price. But I think you have to
right.
understand science. The science has made our lives better, even with medications and
It really
medication.
has,
And
yes.
it has. And there's a reason for it. People say, well, I don't believe in, but they go to the doctor. Well, the doctors believe in science. I think education is key. And we have to realize whether, we don't, whether we don't think we got it, you got to concentrate on science, technology. You got to concentrate on engineering and mathematics because let me tell you one thing. Okay, you don't like STEM? Well, you need to know mathematics because I'm going to jip you if I owe you $20 and I give you $10. How do you know? Can you count? That's mathematics. So my point I'm saying here is make sure, folks, that we're encouraging our children and grandchildren into these fields. Her name is Niquette Channer. My name is Terrence Bardui. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. And every Tuesday we have candid discussions with individuals like Miss Channer, where we could talk straight on financial literacy. But tonight, her being on there, I want you guys to know she's my esteemed client. I'm not worried if something happens. I don't want anything to happen, but I'm not worried because she's put stuff in place. And she made a valid point. A lot of you have kids and they want to go to school and just get a Bachelor of Arts degree. What's that? I'm not saying that's wrong, but concentrate on something where you gotta. I'm not saying you don't use your mind or your brain with that, but you want to get into STEM, and also remember you get paid handsomely as well because that way you'll be able to take care of your family. Again, the show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence, and some people call me Mr. Bardui. And I want to thank you, Niquette. I want you to hold on. This is what we played for her, right? As we close, I want to play a little of the song again. She's a Jamaican woman, right? And the song actually says this. This is what it says. Let me turn this back on. This is what the song says.
And butter salad scammer too.
Jamaican woman. Strong black woman.
I am black and I'm strong in every way.
Yes.
Traveling to the top of the mountain. Jaja in control of my life. As me stepping, me no fear no more. All the pressures of life are surround me.
Yes.
And the tractors driving confound me. Make them laugh and chat. I'm a bubbling like a pot. I'm a blessing gone up to them up. I'm a strong Jamaican Jamaican woman.
Strong Jamaican woman.
I'm a strong Jamaican woman.
Yes, that's what you are, Niquette. Niquette, hold on for a moment as I close. Just stay in the green room for a moment, folks. I want to thank Miss Chana for coming on tonight, folks. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have a million to be on my show. But tonight, I had a superstar. I pray to God that you guys get your children, your grandchildren, especially the young ladies who look like Miss Chana, into STEM. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. As we close, boom. Good night, everybody. Like and share. STEM is where it's at. Like and share. I had a superstar tonight. Thank you, Niquette. The only client who intimidates me is her. Come, family.
Come as you are.
Good night, everybody. God bless you.
And I'll help you.
Like and share.
Are you rejected or hurt? To me, you were much more than you put in.
I don't need no superstars, but I have one tonight.
I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You don't have to be rich some way to be on my show. You don't have to have a million family to be on my show.
Ooh, folks, you don't have to have a million to be on my show. Make sure you like and share. God bless you. Good night. Until next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hasta la vista, babies. And thank you, Niquette, my